For many Australians, Papua New Guinea has almost disappeared off the map of their imagination. Too many years of bad news, too many horror stories from PNG. We forget that Papua New Guinea is our nearest neighbour, and it's also a vibrant, exciting and incredibly welcoming country. The Anglican Church of Papua New Guinea has existed for over 100 years, and for every one of those years, the Anglican Church in Australia, through the Anglican Board of Mission Australia, has been supporting the church here. It's time to tell the story of this wonderful church again. This is the story of the Anglican Church of Papua New Guinea.
I left my wife and I came with my son to Port Moresby. But actually I began to have a terrible sickness on my skin disease. My hairs were losing and I was looking really like not what I am. I was looking terrible, bad. I began to bring curiosity and suspicious thoughts to my neighbors. So my neighbors got up and told me that, hey, you better go and check, you might have got AIDS. And to our culture, for someone to say AIDS to me, it's really insulting. I decided to go to the hospital to ask for blood test, having something in mind to come back and sue them, because I know very well that I didn't get AIDS. I got my answer, it was positive. A big blow. Within this 1 year period, I slept with 2 women, and it's one of those that I caught. AIDS is someone who's an outcast. We still practice it in the villages. If you're known as AIDS, they tell you, you go and build a house there. Last night I went out to a community of about 300 to 400 people. I came forward telling them that I'm HIV. That's not normal in my area and in my culture.
If you happen to find yourself wandering the streets of Port Moresby and someone comes up to you and offers you a strawberry, think twice before you answer. It's unlikely they're offering you a berry. It's more likely they're offering you one of these wonderful strawberry-flavoured condoms being handed out by STOPAIDS. STOPAIDS is set up by Anglicare Port Moresby, and it's doing the most wonderful educational work amongst the street people of Port Moresby to help prevent the epidemic of AIDS that is sweeping Papua New Guinea.
We have one of the highest rates per capita in the world of STI, and in saying that, if HIV follows the STI trend, look out.
AIDS is on the increase so fast. We really don't know enough about how many people there are out there with the problem. The people themselves are very perplexed over how AIDS is transmitted and the rest of it. Many people think of it as being just a judgment from God, and they see it in those sorts of terms, a bit like a sort of Exodus plague. So there's a great deal of need for education and so forth. There's a huge need for healing and acceptance for people who find they've got it, because they tend to find themselves shunned by society. They're the sort of equivalent of the biblical leper, really.
Caring for those who already carry the virus and educating those who are at risk is what STOPAIDS is all about. The organisation grew from an idea planted by Bishop Michael and Benita Huff, and has grown under the enthusiastic guidance of Jeanette Southwell and fellow coordinator Kay Nicol. Jeanette and Kay voluntarily guide the organisation, which is staffed by intelligent and committed young people like Helen Haro.
I was involved in a community program assisting young girls doing a programming of evangelism. Okay, during my programming I saw two victims of HIV/AIDS died. So it's same age as my group. So by looking at those people dying, I think I feel strong enough to come out and do awareness program to involve with Anglicare STOPAIDS PNG and to go out and talk about HIV/AIDS to prevent the disease or the virus going into all the communities.
Helen was trained through the STOPAIDS program and is now a peer educator. Young people like these are smashing through traditional taboos on speaking about sexuality. They know that unless the facts about HIV are made known, PNG could be devastated by AIDS.
It's very difficult for young people like us to go out into communities, especially communities. Okay, because sex, I think you have to break through barriers to go into and talk about sex, because in PNG culture, sex is not openly talked.
Sexual matters are taboo. The kids get their education through the school ground, through the street. Sexuality is not spoken about in the home.
Yeah, because when you talk to a young people, a same age, going into a young community to talk about sex, I think it's very important because they feel comfortable, they feel good to talk to you because you are at the same age as them.
In the same way that Jesus challenged culture, the Stop AIDS team is pushing the boundaries for the sake of saving lives, and they're doing it with a sense of humour.
No, when I first I talked about sex, I was a bit embarrassed, and my audience, they pulled face to me, but it's okay, I did it.
Stop AIDS began its awareness raising in business houses around Port Moresby and soon moved into schools to educate younger people. They are now part of the official school program. In schools, the level of ignorance about sexuality was sometimes breathtaking.
And I said, now, any questions? Any questions? And this one fellow put up his hand, he said, I believe twisty bags work quite well for condoms, as a condom. And I said, well, I wouldn't recommend it actually. But he seemed to be quite convinced that twisty bags were quite suitable for condoms.
Stop AIDS' ever-expanding vision now incorporates special programs for construction sites and street youth, as well as the condom distribution program that gives away 200,000 condoms each year. Poverty, arranged marriages, sexual taboos, and the need to separate from family to find work combine to create the perfect environment for the HIV virus to spread. Workplace education is a powerful tactic for fighting the disease. We're here on the edge of 9 Mile Settlement, just outside of Port Moresby. In the background, Rupert is conducting a session on AIDS education for members of Guard Dog Security. And this is what makes Stop AIDS different from many other AIDS organisations. They're prepared to get out into the community and deliver the message exactly where it's needed.
Invariably, we go to these places and there's no condoms, there's no support. Companies are crying out after we do our one presentation. They say, can you come back, can you come back? And in actual fact, the UN has seen this program as a good practice, and they would like to see the program taken throughout the country.
Stop AIDS has attracted growing support from government agencies who are also fighting the battle against AIDS. These combined campaigns may well be the difference between life and death for literally thousands of people each year. With your help, ABM is proud to support Stop AIDS plans to take their education programs across PNG.
Even though the program may be directed at HIV, it's really a social program, and it's a program of choice, family values and choice. And but with a big emphasis on HIV, because you can't address HIV unless you address all these other issues.
It's not overstating the situation to suggest that these people are trying to change the destiny of a nation. HIV/AIDS need not decimate the population of PNG. It is a disease that can be prevented. And with people like Helen on board, there's every chance it will be.
Personally, to me, is helping or saving people out there, especially youths. Yeah, that's my big, ambition, or my big role that I play in this organization, to save young people. Yeah.
A teaspoon!